Drink your greens, honey. Drink your greens. Hey everyone, I am your fave nurse B. Let's get into the video. I want to talk about some ways that you can get through your prerequisites in the least amount of headaches, the least amount of turmoil possible, okay? Now, I have my RN degree. I was an LPN first. I did 5 years of prereqs. And I've talked to a ton of people about prereqs as well. So I feel like I'm qualified. You know, I am your favorite nurse B. So let's get into it. Make sure you all stay to the end because I'm going to put a nice juicy bonus tip at the end that I use for myself that really saved time. Tip number 1 is that you want to look at more than one school. So I know for some people in your area, it might be harder for you to do this because sometimes nursing programs, they only have like 1 or 2 schools in the area. But look out a little further if you're willing to travel a little further. And also if you are close to a state that you can get to within half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, look at that state because you might find programs that fit you. For example, I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I've seen a lot of people come from like an hour away areas in Missouri, or even from Illinois coming over to Missouri to get their nursing license. And if you go to school in Missouri, you can get your nursing license in Missouri and you will have a compact nursing license. So that means that you can have the Missouri license and then still practice nursing in like 28 other states and not have to apply for a nursing license in that area. So that's one of the things. Look and see if there's something you in an area close to you or even in the next state that's not too far. Just keep in mind you're probably going to be paying out-of-state costs. But like I said, a lot of people have come from Illinois to Missouri to get schooling done and even over here to work. So it might be useful to you if you look at the numbers. But the theme of this video is to do your research, okay? Do your research and keep looking. So the next thing is and the reason why I say look at the prereqs for more than one school is because you might not get into the school that you want to get into. So you want to kind of make sure that you are working towards prereqs from more than one school. Now that's what I did. And I end up not even needing to do it, but I do have a class that I could use for my BSN program. Next thing is to go to a community college. Now, I know some people would say like, oh, well, I just want to get into my nursing program and start. This is where they get you. And I'm going to do a separate video about this, but this is where they get you. These schools, these for-profit schools usually will say, oh, you're going to be in the nursing program as soon as you start, da da da. Y'all, these schools have some type of prereqs. Now, I will say that, like if you go to an LPN program, I went to an LPN program. The prereqs were built into the program. So you would be doing the prereqs while you're doing nursing courses. But like someplace like Chamberlain, you're going to have to do prereqs first. Like you're going to be doing about 2 years of prereqs. So why not do those 2 years of prereqs at the community college at a significantly lower price than what you would be paying there? I've seen it where you can do an AMP class, which every nursing program you have to do AMP. I don't care I don't care. You got to do AMP. So at the community college, it might be anywhere from $400 to $500, whereas at Chamberlain, you're looking at $1,000 plus, and that's not including books, right? So think about that. You could take 2 classes and still be paying the same, be paying less than what you would pay for 1 class at Chamberlain. So you need to look at community colleges as an option. But of course, talk to those schools that you plan on going to after the community college to see, okay, will you take these classes? Will you take this from the community college? Some schools won't because they want you to take their classes at their school. They want you to go there and they want to keep all the money there. But I believe Chamberlain, from what I've talked to with people, you can go to the community college and transfer into Chamberlain with those with the community college classes. So look at them. Don't look down on junior colleges, community colleges. Y'all, look, it's 2023, y'all. Like, whatever you can do to save some money, just save some money. Like, it's not that serious. It really isn't. Like, it's just not. Because nursing school is expensive. Keeping up with your nursing license is expensive. Keeping up with having to buy scrubs, shoot, that's expensive. So you need to just be smart. Just be smart. Next thing is, say you get into community college, you're great, you're about to start your classes. Before you even start classes, they're going to have you do a placement exam. So this is the exam that you take before you're able to see what math and English, I think it's just math and English courses that you can take. You all need to study for the placement exam. Study for the placement exam. Get you a GED book, a high set, whatever they're calling it nowadays, and study for it. Take your time. First do the practice exam for like math and English. See what you got wrong on it. Then give yourself some time to practice doing those questions, practice whatever material you need to work on for math and English. You're on YouTube. Go on YouTube. Look at stuff for fractions and ratios and isn't a fraction a ratio? Looking for everything, geometry, whatever you need to learn. Keep studying for it. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you do these placement exams, it's to place you where you need to be. So say that you have to get college algebra in order to get into an RN program, right? Yeah. There's like 5 other classes underneath college algebra that you have to take. Now, if you just say, oh, I've been out of high school for 7 years, I'm just going to go in here and take this test. I was always good, man. Let's just see. And you get placed into, I don't know, a pre-algebra class. Not even pre-algebra. Say you get to, I can't even remember none of the math classes. You get into like a basic math class. You might have to take 2 or 3, even 4 math classes before you can even take the college algebra class. So that means that's 3 or 4 semesters of math classes that you have to take before you can even get your requirement. So you got a prereq for the prereq. You get what I'm saying? You have to take pre-courses for that course. Whereas if you were to study for it beforehand, you might have at least got one class higher. So do not take those placement exams lightly. It's not something you just go up to the school like, hey, you want to take a placement exam today? No. Take some time. Give yourself a few weeks, 2 weeks, just to sit down and work on the math, work on the English, and make sure that you can test as high as possible so that you can save money. This is going to save you a lot of money and a lot of time, y'all. I'm not playing. This is where a lot of people get basically behind the 8 ball from the jump because you need these classes. This is to tell you where you're going to be at. So, and once you get tested into a math class, you test it in there. Like, you can't just go back and take it. Like, let me try it again. No, you can't. Like, you placed in there's where you got to go. So, and sometimes if you get placed into like a remedial math, it can take a long time to get up to that college algebra. But maybe that's what you need. And that's, honestly, yeah, that's completely fine because you're going to need the math and the science anyways for your nursing program. So, which y'all don't need it that much, child. I even heard that they might be taking college algebra out of my community college requirement, which, yeah, I had to take, I think, 3 math classes. I had to take three math classes to be able to get into my program. So, I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. Don't take it lightly. Really work on that placement exam. Take your time to study. Like I said, get a high set book. Do the exam first before you do any studying. Do the math and English. Time yourself doing it. Then once you see what you got wrong, work on those areas. And then after that, give yourself, like, work on it every day for like an hour. Just push yourself to do an hour and a half, 2 hours. Push yourself to do it, to work on it. And then give yourself like a week or 2 and then come back again and do another do another practice exam of the math and English. See how far you got. See how much more you got into it. How much more you got right. And if there's anything else you need to look at, brush over it, look over it again. Okay? Push yourself to do it because you're going to save so much time, so much money, and so much of a headache. Okay? Okay. Next thing is to look at whatever the school requires you for your prereqs. Look at them regularly because it might take you a few years to finish your prereqs. Okay? Especially if you're paying out of pocket. I pay out of pocket for my prereqs, and it took me some time because I was paying out of pocket. Plus, I was working, then I became a mom while I was doing prereqs, so it takes some time. But anywho, because for me, I was going, and I took like this class over the summer. It was a library class. It wasn't expensive. It was $100, but I mean, that could have been my $100 I would have kept because come to find out, by the time I got into the nursing program, they had took that requirement away. I was like, we don't even have to take this class. I just spent time to come up here. And I freaking spent time, I paid money to do this, like, and I didn't even need it. So it was just like, definitely look at what the schools require because nursing schools are notorious for changing their requirements. They might take a class out. They might add a class. So you think that you done finished all your prereqs and you're ready to apply for school. And they're like, oh no, we still need you to take sociology. You're like, what? Come on, y'all. Like, really? I did all of this? I could have took sociology over the summer. Like, I was waiting to, like, I could have did this. I could have did it online. I could have did it. Trust me, it can be very much of a hassle, but keep looking back at the schools. Maybe every semester, look at the school website, call up there, whatever, go up there. I don't know, whatever you got to do to make sure that you're on point when it comes to what courses are required, especially because you don't want to take a class that you don't need. And then, like I said, you don't want to not take a class thinking you have everything, and then when it's time to apply, you have to wait a whole other semester to apply. Ugh, that's a huge headache. Next thing I would say is you need to find out if the school will take your average. Okay, so say for instance, let me back. For some people, you have to take like a chemistry course, right? Now, say you took chemistry maybe some years back when you wasn't really serious about it and you got like a D in chemistry, right? You can't, that school's not going to take that grade. So first off, look and see what the school requires you for each grade, for each class, what grade you have to take. More than likely the math classes, I think for me, like they didn't really care about the math. I think it was like a C maybe. They didn't really care too much about the math. But those science classes, they more than likely want you to have a B or higher. So this is going to save you a lot of time, money, and energy because one, you need to, if you're in a class and you see that you are not doing well, this is what happened to me. I was in chemistry. Yeah, I was not doing well in that chemistry class. I was racking up so much overtime at work. They was paying us some good money. I was an LPN and I was racking up some money. And this is pre-COVID, so it was money I hadn't seen before as a nurse. So I was racking it up. I really wasn't paying attention in chemistry class, and I was looking. I was like, this math ain't mathing. I'm gonna probably get a D in this class, or I think I was gonna end up getting like a C in the class. And I was like, I can't do that. So I withdrew, which is good because it's just a W. It did not affect my GPA. So you need to pay attention to this. So while you're in the class, like I said, if you need to withdraw, you can withdraw. Or you can, put the pedal to the metal and try to get the highest score that you can get in the class, which we should be doing that anyways. But that overtime be calling you. I get it. I totally understand now. But anyhow, you need to look at that. But also, with me getting that W, say I went through the course and I got a C in it, but I could not use that C for my program, right? I contacted the school, one of the schools I was looking to go to, and I was like, okay, will you all take the average of my grades? Meaning, if I get a C now and I get an A next time, will you take it as a B? Or will you take my highest grade? And then some schools, they'll take your lowest grade. They don't care what you got. They take that lowest grade. So you have to really be on top of it when it comes to your prereqs. Like, don't play around with prereqs because it can make or break you when it comes to getting into a program. So contact the schools, see what they require. Like I said, see if they take the average, see if they take the lower grade, the higher grade, whatever. I think most schools probably will take an average of the two grades. And it'd be great if the school will take the higher end of the grade. And also, like I said, if you feel like you're not going to get the grade that you need to get out of that class, they have that withdrawal period, that add drop period. They have that for a reason, because if you cannot get the grade you need to withdraw. A W is way better than a C or a D. Trust me, because that's going to affect your GPA. A withdrawal is not going to affect your GPA, okay? So keep that in mind. Keep it in mind. I'm telling you now, that's a big thing you need to know. Do not just think, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pass this class. If you, by the time that withdrawal period comes, that's the time that, because that's kind of like right before midterms, I think. You know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get. So you be truthful with yourself. Talk to the teacher too. Sometimes you talk to the teacher, they might tell you could be able to get it through, but sometimes they be like, look, if you think you're gonna be able to pull this out, this is what you're gonna have to do. So if you think you can get a 80 and a 90% on the next two tests, and then at least a 90 on the final, then yeah, go ahead and stay. But if not, go ahead and drop it. So talk to your teachers too, because they might be able to help you. But next thing is, know which prereqs have prereqs. So I already talked about the math courses, right? Oh my gosh, y'all, look at my green drink. It's starting to separate because I put something called red spinach in here. And I guess the red spinach is really separating from the green. Yeah, I'm on a juice fast. So I'm only drinking juice for the next 22 days, child. And we doing it. Anyhow, as I said with the math courses. So math courses, like say you need to get the college algebra, you might have to take a few other classes to be able to get into that college algebra class. But something like A&P, which is what we usually have to take, requires a prereq. A&P usually requires you to take biology first. Okay, so I went into my community college to look at the courses that they have available. A&P, I'm going to show you all what it requires. If you look at this section right underneath the course description, it tells you that the prerequisites for this course is Bio 111 or Bio 140 or Chemistry 101 with the minimum grade of C. So you have to really also pay attention to those minimum grades too for your prerequisites, okay? Like you got to be on top of all of this. And of course you have to have the reading proficiency, which you're going to get that when you do your entrance exam. We go in and look at the chemistry course. We'll see that chemistry, what is this? 105, which is general chemistry. It requires you to complete math 140 or at least 1/2 of high school algebra, and let's see, and chemistry 101 with the minimum grade of C. So this is really good for high school students, because if you're in high school and you looking to go straight into nursing and you're going to do those prereqs, you're going to be able to knock out a lot of stuff. So this is why I always say high school students, make sure you do your science classes in high school. That way you don't have to do them in college over again. The reason why you need to know which courses require prereqs is because that's how you're going to be able to plan out your schedule. And I think I already have a whole video about that. I'll do another one, but when you know what your program requires, you really do need to take the time and plan it out, because some classes require classes that you have to take before you can even get into that class. Chemistry. A lot of chemistry courses require you to take a specific math, because chemistry is very math heavy. I actually like chemistry. I had to take it twice, but it just takes so much time because of the math and dang on equations you got to freaking remember and do, and all this dimensional analysis. So anyhow, that requires a math class. But say that you got into that remedial math, or maybe you got into a lower math, like right above remedial math. You might have to take another math class in order to even get into chemistry. Get what I'm saying? So you have to know which courses require you to take a course before you get into it. That way you can plan your schedule and say, okay, I'm going to take biology this semester, take this math class this semester, and then maybe even for your like human growth and development. Human growth and development requires you to take psychology. So the thing is, the nursing program will just say, we want you to have chemistry, A&P, and college algebra. They're not going to tell you that you have to take biology in order to get into A&P, and you have to take this in order to get. No, they're not going to tell you that. Now, some schools will still require you to take biology and psychology, but they may not. So look at all the classes you have to take and see which ones have prereqs for the prereq. I know it's a lot, but look at all of that. That way you can plan it and be like, okay, I'm going to take all my prereqs first. So my biology, so I can then take my A&P, and then I'm going to take my my math class so I can then get into my next math class. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my psychology class so I can get into human growth and development. So that way you're not thinking, oh, I just got to take human growth and development psychology when it's time to sign up for it. You're like, why can't I get in? And then you can't get in, and then the freaking psychology class is full, the math class is full, and the biology class is full. And you just sitting over there like, dang, like, I done messed up. Now they go to my next tip that I didn't even put on the list, but you need to start early. Some people think that okay, I hear a lot of people say, yeah, I'm just going to start next year. And I'd be like, well, you know, classes start in January. Like, say it's like November or something, or it's September. Like, yeah, I'm going to start classes next year. I'm like, you know, classes start in January. Like, in January, they start. You can't just go start looking for classes in January. Like, classes start in January. So I always tell people, like, you need to look now because courses are open now. especially people who have already been students, like they're returning students, they're going to be getting on top of their courses as soon as possible. So, and also those, I would say, like your biology and math, all those kind of fill up pretty fast. So you definitely want to, especially the good teachers, those fill up fast. So you want to be on top of getting into those classes. Don't just think, oh, I'll just start in the fall. And you think that that means that you should start the whole process in August. No, you need to start the process sometime in May. Because you need to know how much it's going to cost. You need to probably sit down with a counselor to help you figure out, your courses. You might need to figure out your work schedule. Can I do online? Like, you have to get yourself prepared and plan for it. So don't just think, oh, I'll deal with it then. And what about financial aid? What if you get financial aid? You need to be able to go ahead and apply for it as soon as possible. So, which is around this time. As soon as you file taxes, file for financial aid. That's it. This is a few little extra tips. Another tip is that you need to start with your harder courses first. I've seen people be like, oh, I'm just taking my little fluff classes. Like they might take psychology. I mean, I'm not saying psychology is a fluff class, but as long as you're reading and doing all that, you're going to do well in psychology. But the courses that take you time, like you have to study it, is going to be your math and it's going to be your science courses. So you need to get those courses done as early as possible, especially because these courses, like I told you, require prereqs for the prereq. So some people will keep waiting and they don't want to do AMP yet, only to find out when they're ready to do AMP that they have to do biology. You could have did that last semester. You could have did that the first semester. This is why you really have to plan everything out and be like, okay, this is everything I got to do. What am I going to do the first semester? Then what I'm going to do during the summer? What I'm going to do during fall? What am I going to do during spring? What am I going to do during the summer? How long is it going to take me? Like you need to sit down and write it down. It's my favorite thing to do. I freaking love doing that. I used to just do that all the time. Like even before I knew I was getting into anybody nursing program, I would just sit down there and plan out my schedule. And I'd be like, okay, this is one option I can do. This is my option number 2 I can do. It's going to take me this long to do. It's going to take, yeah, I used to love doing that. So I'm going to do another video helping y'all with that. I have one already up. Go check it out. It's an oldie, but it's always a goodie. So definitely go check it out. But do those harder classes first because, like I said, you don't know if you don't want to run the risk of not being able to. What was I gonna say? Do the harder classes first. Another reason why you should do them first is because fatigue is real, especially if you've been doing prereqs for 2 years, 3 years. Like you're going to be tired by the time it come down to the end. You want to be able to say all I got to do is English and human growth and development. You don't want to get to the end and be like, I got to do chemistry and I got to do AMP and I still got to do microbiology. Like, no. You want to get that done as early as possible in the process. Now, some people might want to be like, okay, I'm going to wait because I want to have that kind of fresh in my head for my nursing program. I get that. That's cool. But I would say just do it as early as possible because fatigue is real. And if something were to happen and you had to redo one of those harder courses, you want to have some time, some wiggle room to be able to do it that next semester. Okay? But if you wait to the end, having to do it the next semester might have to push you a whole other semester out from being able to start your program. And who wants to do that? Like, you don't want to wait. You already been waiting. So do it early because of the fatigue and also because you might have to retake a course. So my bonus tip for you all, if you waited to the end, the bonus tip, this is the best tip ever. This is what I did, is to take 8-week courses. So in a semester, it's 16 weeks, right? Typically it's 16 weeks. Now, some schools will have it where you can do 8-week classes. This is a great way to get a lot of prereqs done in one semester, okay? Or to really just shorten up your time span of having to do prereqs. So for me, what I did was I did 8 weeks of AMP1 and 8 weeks of AMP2. I was able to get 2 semesters of courses done in one semester. Now, it is accelerated. It's fast. It's going to be on top of you. Like, it's going to be on you. Because it's only 8 weeks. They split it in half. It's like taking a summer course in a regular semester. But it saves you so much time, y'all. It saves you so much time to do this. So what I did was I did A&P 1 and 2, and I also took a microbiology class, and I think I took a math class at the same time. Yeah, that's what I did. I took microbiology, A&P 1, then A&P 2, and I took a math class. So I was taking essentially 4 classes in that same semester. But of course, you know, I did the 8-week class. So it was like 3 at a time, really. So do that, y'all. See if your school has that option. You might want to, if you're like at a community college, like for me, St. Louis Community Colleges has like 4 or 5 different campuses. So you can look at different campuses on the website, and maybe you might have to do 1 at this campus and 1 at that campus. It's okay. But if you can shorten it up and have it in that 1 semester, woo, it saves you a lot of time and energy. Now, I had already took A&P in my nursing program. So I was doing prereqs for RN, but I was an LPN while I was doing it. So I already took A&P in my LPN program, but the courses did not transfer. Child, that's why I tell you, you need to make sure you know about them classes if they transfer. And you need to know if the school will take classes from the other school. But that's just something to consider. Anyhow, so I knew that I would do relatively decent in the A&P course because I had already had some type of, I already did it. So, but it was a lot deeper when I went into the community college. So that's why I felt confident doing it. If you're strong in sciences, I say do this as well. And if you're willing to just do that 8-week A&P 1, 8-week A&P 2, and maybe do a more easier course like an English course, maybe a math course if you're okay with math. Maybe micros to me is not a hard science course. It's more fun, honestly, than being hard. So maybe that micro class, but it was a lot with micro and math and A&P. It was a lot, I'm not gonna lie. I was working that dang old semester. But do that, or you might want to say, okay, I'll do that, and I'll do it with, like I said, an English course or a psychology course or a sociology course. If you some type of humanities course, don't do it with like a lot of math and science if you don't have experience in A&P yet, or if you're not that strong when it comes to science courses. And you can even see if they have like an 8-week biology class and then an 8-week A&P class. But this is where you don't want to get tripped up, because you do need this material for your nursing program. So you have to think, okay, this is accelerated, so I got to go in here like ready to do this. So you might just do that for the semester. Just do that biology and then A&P, or just do biology and microbiology, because microbiology, the prereq for microbiology is biology. Child, biology is the prereq for every dang thing. So you might want to do it that way. And then also, even for your math classes, if you get into a lower math class, maybe if they have it available, do an 8-week math and another 8-week math and have it in there 1 semester. Look and see what your options are, you all. I think that's all the tips that I have for you all. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out my other videos that have to do with prereqs. I'll leave them down in the description box. I have a video talking about me having to do chemistry over, talking about that. I got videos about how long it took me to do my prereqs and what the process was. And I think I have a video where I tell you what grades I got on my prereqs. And if not, let me know if y'all want to see that, because I'm gonna have to see if I got a video about that. I think I do though. So yeah, I appreciate all of y'all. I love all of y'all. I know that prereqs are very hard, because if you're paying out of pocket, it takes forever to get through it, because you're paying out of pocket. Get on that payment plan, child. And also, like, you just want to start your program, but don't get psyched up. Like, don't get drawn into some of these for-profit schools that just want to tell you, oh, you're going to start the nursing program, No, go ahead and do them prereqs at the community college and save yourself some money. Now, I get it. Some people be like, oh, well, I'll just deal with them student loans when I deal with them. Okay, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. Like, I can't even be mad at you, but like, I just want to get it done. I get that, but the desperation that comes behind that can cost you so much time and money. I'm so grateful that I wasn't desperate, because I ended up being able to get do my RN program for free. I actually got paid to do my RN program because I went during COVID. And I went to community college. They paid for our freaking books because I was an LPN. They had a whole grant for LPNs to pay for our books. I went during COVID. We got grants during COVID. They paid us. Like, we got paid just to get the dang on vaccination. We got paid $100 just to get that. Like, so I ended up being good because I took my time doing my prereqs. I wasn't desperate. I wasn't trying to run to anybody's school. I just did what I had to do. And I went to the community college, and my freaking kids' school was paid for at the community college. The school had a grant to help you pay for school. So my kids was able for your child care. So I was able to get my child care for free. I think I ended up having to pay like maybe $100 a week for them to go to school. I think it wasn't that much. I think it was $100. So hey, it saved me some money. It saved a lot of money. So I'm grateful for the community college. Don't look down on it, but just do your research and see. Like I said, look at these tips that I gave you all. I hope you found them helpful. Thanks for watching. Peace.